What up, everybody? Welcome back to Jayfabe Wrestling. We are doing part two of WWE wrestlers that should have won the World Championship. So, yeah, this time we're going to be looking at the era from 2000s to current. Um, yeah, there's definitely, again, a lot of stars as well that won. But again, let me say Sami Zayn, he had a great reign. It was cool to see him win it. And yeah, this list, to be honest, doesn't really cover people that actually won it, but probably should have got another reign. So someone like Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, these guys are one-time Universal Champions. Even Braun Strowman, I felt like he won it at the wrong time. So Kofi Kingston, I felt like he could have won it earlier. So this doesn't really cover that. Christian, he won it in 2011. He probably should have won it in 2005. So there's a lot of that as well. But obviously, these guys all won the World Championship, so I'm not really going to talk about them on my list. So, yeah, but again, there's a lot of wrestlers here that in the 2000s that definitely should have won it. But in the Attitude Era, I thought they did a pretty good job. Like most people that should have won the belt got an opportunity with the belt in the Attitude Era. So I'm not really have anyone from the Attitude Era. The first person will be from 2007 on. So you can see that in the Attitude Era, the top stars definitely had the belts. So yeah, and also we got to remember that again in this era we got two world titles, so more people definitely should have had an opportunity to win it. And yeah, I have around 10 to 12 people here that I'm going to talk about. There definitely will be a few honorable mentions. So someone like Finley, I felt like he just didn't have the right time. MVP, obviously, he had health conditions as well as his previous records. He wouldn't be allowed in different countries. I believe he even said that on a podcast that he was supposed to win the belt. But yeah, it never materialized because of all those things. And someone like Carlito, very over mid Carter, but again, didn't have the opportunity to. Evan Bourne. So these are some guys from the Ruthless Aggression era that I definitely, want to give an honorable mention to. And then someone even like Rusev, he was super over, but again, just finding the right time for him to win it was a little difficult, but he definitely deserved it as well. And yeah, there's even guys that debuted from NXT that were super over. Ricochet, Aleister Black. They just had poor booking and they never really got an opportunity to win it as well. So there's definitely a lot of honorable mentions for those guys. Let me know if I missed anyone. But yeah, let's get into the list right now. All right, so the first person on my list is the Samoan bulldozer, Umaga. So yeah, Umaga, he debuted in 2006 and he was on a hell of a run. He defeated Ric Flair, I believe, at Backlash. And yeah, he was in a feud with John Cena headed into Survivor Series. He was on the opposing team. And then he became the number one contender for New Year's Revolution. And that's where I would have Umaga win it. I would just give him a short reign, but I would actually have him defeat John Cena at New Year's Revolution. And John Cena could win it back at the next month's Royal Rumble, but I just think giving Umaga the win here would have made sense because his momentum was at a sky high. And yeah, I think him defeating John Cena would have been the right time. And Cena would have got the win back, and his win at the Royal Rumble in a last man standing match was very impressive, but it would have been even more impressive for him to regain the belt after Umaga squashes him at New Year's Revolution. So in real life, John Cena kind of got like a flash pin victory, but I would actually have Umaga defeat John Cena clean, no BS, dominates him, and then Cena has to, dig deep and get his win back at the Royal Rumble in the last man standing match. And I think it does a lot for Umaga because he was, again, headed into the Battle of the Billionaires, so he gives him a little bit of credibility. And then after that, after 2007, he had a lot of injuries and obviously a lot of drug suspensions going on. So he wasn't really as hot as as he first debuted. So I think this would have been the right time to do a nice switch here. It doesn't have to be a long reign, but we can give Umaga his respect and say that he was a world champion and he defeated John Cena, and then he also put John Cena over in one of the best title matches in history. So yeah, first person on the list, we got the Samoan bulldozer Umaga. All right, the second person on the list is Mr. Kennedy. Kennedy. So yes, I would have Mr. Kennedy be a world champion, and he did win Money in the Bank at WrestleMania 23, and he was again ascending. He came off a feud with The Undertaker. He came off a feud with Batista at the Royal Rumble, just coming up short. I think he won by DQ actually. So, and he was bragging about defeating 7 world champions. So, or even more than that. He defeated the likes of Chris Benoit. I believe he beat Rey Mysterio. So yeah, he defeated The Undertaker in a First Blood match. So he was definitely ascending, and obviously what happened afterwards was a bit tough with again him first getting the wrong diagnosis for his injury, so he had to drop the Money in the Bank, and then he gets suspended, and then he actually gets injured. He again, people don't want to work with him, so anytime after this, there's definitely no opportunity for him to win it. But again, I would still have him win the Money in the Bank at WrestleMania 23, and I would actually have him keep it. Just being hindsight 2020, let him keep it. Let's see how his injury is. Oh, he's not that injured, and I would actually have him come back at the Great American Bash 2007. So in real time, Edge had to vacate the belt, so I would actually have Batista fight maybe Kane for the vacant belt, and Mr. Kennedy would cash in and make it a triple threat match and defeat Kane to win the belt. And yeah, I thought at the times he did get drafted to Raw, but I would not have him be drafted to Raw. At the time, SmackDown needed a lot of talent, and this was definitely the right time for him because Edge was supposed to take his spot, but Edge got hurt anyways, so that happens there. And yeah, Kennedy, he becomes world champion, and he has a decent run. Obviously, he did get suspended in September, so I would actually, again, defeat Batista maybe at SummerSlam, and then maybe Batista could win it back on the SmackDown in September. And yeah, Kennedy was pretty cooked after that, but at least he gets a couple months reign, and definitely saves us from, Batista, great Khali feud. So yeah, I think 2007 was the right time for Kennedy to win it. After that, his character got cooked, and yeah, it's just rough timing, but Kennedy definitely deserved it. All right, the next person on my list is Ain't No Stopping Me, no, Shelton Benjamin. Yes, the gold standard. He was someone that could have won it in many years. Some people are saying he should have won it in 05, 06, 07. But I have him win in 2008 as the gold standard because I like the character. And I thought it was a good time for him to win it. So I would actually have him win the Money in the Bank at WrestleMania 24 instead of CM Punk. And he would get drafted to SmackDown. And at SummerSlam 2008, I would have Triple H versus Jeff Hardy instead of the Great Khali. So Jeff Hardy is about to win it. He hits the Swanton 1-2. Shelton pulls the ref, beats up Jeff Hardy, and then he takes advantage of a hurt Triple H, cashes in, and wins it. And yeah, again, Shelton Benjamin, maybe we would give him a manager too at this point, but he definitely deserved it. His talent was unbelievable. In 2005, he had matches with Shawn Michaels at the Gold Rush tournament. He was, fighting Chris Jericho on pay-per-view. And then, yeah, I don't know what happened. The fans started to turn on him. So, and then he returned back to the tag team, World's Greatest Tag Team. But I think in 2008, it was time. He found a new character. He changed his hair color to blonde. He had the new gold standard gimmick. So it would have made sense for him to have the world title as gold standard. And he could have a nice run with it because in 2008, There's a lot of great face challengers. He could have fought Jeff, Triple H, and then Undertaker, and he could lose it to either Undertaker or Triple H at Survivor Series. But yeah, I think Shelton Benjamin, this was the right time for him to win it. And yeah, looking at how CM Punk's 2008 cash in worked out, I think this would have been better to give it to Shelton Benjamin. And yeah, just really after this, Shelton, he just became more of a mid-carder, but again, he definitely deserved to have a world title run, and this would have been the right time to do it for sure. All right, the next person on my list is Matt Hardy. Yes, Matt Hardy. So I would actually have him win it at WrestleMania 25. If you guys looked at my rebookings of every WrestleMania, I had both Hardy Boys win it. So I thought that was it would be a cool moment for sure. So basically, I would have Jeff win the Royal Rumble, and then instead of challenging Edge, he would challenge John Cena, which opens up a spot at the Elimination Chamber where Matt Hardy would win the Number of Contenders match. And yeah, he would feud with Edge just like old times. And it would be very personal feud where Edge is saying, look at all the success your brother has. You know, he won the Rumble. He's the much bigger star, you know, and he could say how he's been embarrassing the Hardys since 1999. You can say all these things, took his girl, all this stuff, and yeah, again, Matt Hardy would get the win here at WrestleMania 25, and I think Matt Hardy really deserved it. Again, look at him. Once he became a single star, Matt Hardy version 1 was cool, and then even 2005, he was probably the most over guy in the company, and then from 2006 to 2009, he was just a really solid worker. Had great matches, whether it was like Gregory Helms, a really memorable feud with MVP, and even his ECW title run was cool, which I would not have. I would dissolve the ECW. So yeah, I think WrestleMania, instead of having him again turn heel and feud with Jeff, I think it would make sense for him to actually win the belt as well, because he often doesn't get the respect he deserves. And some people even say he is a better worker than Jeff Hardy. And technically speaking, I also agree with that. Obviously, he's not as over as him and popular, but he's a better technical wrestler. And yeah, I feel like the fans would definitely sympathize with Matt, especially if he gets the belt off Edge. I feel like that's a full circle story moment, and it happens at WrestleMania at the same time his brother wins it. So yeah, Matt Hardy, I have him win the world title. All right. Next up on my list, I have Sir William Regal. Yes, the great William Regal. He's a longtime wrestler here, WCW, WWF, WWE, and he's always one of the ones that are like, he should have won it. He definitely deserved it. And yeah, just looking at his WWF run, he comes in as a nice mid-card heel, and then he becomes the commissioner, he becomes a face, and then he becomes a part of the Un-Americans, and then I believe he gets hurt in 2003. He comes back as Eugene's manager, which is cool. He became like a really lovable baby face. And then in 05, 06, he was kind of back to the mid-card heel, working with King Booker. And then yeah, same in 07. He was kind of teaming with Dave Taylor, Paul Burchill. And then 08, he becomes general manager. So, and then the plans were to have him win it, but then he gets suspended. And yeah, William Regal was kind of cooked after that, but not in my world. I have him win it at The Bash 2009. So as we all know, Randy Orton won the title in a fatal 4-way after Batista vacated it. So I would actually have, Batista would vacate it, and then we can have a fatal 4-way for the belt. We have all these guys in it, John Cena, Randy, Triple H, and William Regal. And I would have William Regal get the surprise victory here. Again, 2009, we had Cena and Orton feud for 5-6 months. We definitely did not need that feud. And just, yeah, like, this was the time to do it. Obviously, 2008, didn't work out, but we're in 2009 now, and Batista he had to drop the belt because of injury. Let's give Regal a little run with it. He could feud with Triple H. He could feud with John Cena at SummerSlam. And yeah, Cena could regain it back at either, again, SummerSlam or the September pay-per-view, whatever it is, and then he can go back to his feud with Orton. But it just gives us a nice 3-month refresher here, something different. And William Regal, he can, I think at the time he had like Ezekiel Jackson as his heavy, so we can still have that. Layla as like his heel valet, so we can still do these things to keep Regal again strong here. And yeah, I think this was just definitely the time to do it, especially how stagnant 2009 is. And obviously after this, Regal, he wasn't really involved as much. So this would have been a nice, thank you gift for William Regal for sure. And yeah, I think this would have been the right time to do it. All right, next up, I have Wade Barrett. Yes, the rookie Wade Barrett. I would have him win it in 2010 at SummerSlam. Some of you guys know my SummerSlam 2010 booking here. And yeah, I would actually, again, Cena versus Wade Barrett at SummerSlam for the belt. And Daniel Bryan returns, but he's still with the Nexus. And he helps Wade Barrett defeat John Cena. And again, it's just about timing, right? Look how over this guy was. He would never be as over as he was in the Nexus as a heel. And you got to strike while the iron's hot. And the Nexus were, again, super over as heels, and they're on a destruction path. And I think it would have been a really cool story just to see Wade Barrett, his first pay-per-view match, he defeats John Cena. I mean, they tried to do this with like someone like Sheamus, but that wasn't as effective. This would have been more effective just because of the build that Wade Barrett had going into the show and the storyline of the Nexus. And you want to make Nexus look strong to start off, right? Like how they did it was totally backwards. They had first the big Survivor Series kind of style tag match there, and then secondly, they had the Nexus lose. And so it would be very simple here. Wade Barrett, I would actually have him hold it until Survivor Series, where John Cena would attack him, and then The Miz would cash in. So The Miz can still cash in at the same time, but Wade Barrett would have a good run. I would have him defeat Chris Jericho at Night of Champions, and defeat Randy Orton. And yeah, it'll be Team Cena versus Team Barrett. And Team Cena will get the win there. And then, yeah, then he would, again, FU Wade Barrett through the announce table. The Miz cashes in. So he gets a nice SummerSlam to Survivor Series run. And I mean, after this, he was kind of cooked, to be honest. He got injured in 2012, and then he became Bad News Barrett, which was pretty cool, but, he was more of an entertaining mid-carder. He never really got this height again. So, yeah, this was definitely time to do it. Something fresh, 2010. It's always the same old Cena, Randy, Edge. We needed something different. So this would have been a nice breath of fresh air for Wade Barrett to win the world title at SummerSlam 2010. All right, next up, I have Jomo, John Morrison. Yes, I would have John Morrison win it at WrestleMania 27. So, as I said, The Miz would cash in and become the new world champion. And heading into WrestleMania 27, I would have John Morrison win the Royal Rumble. He would win it parkour style. He would do that same thing where he gets shoved onto the barricade. He holds on to it and hops in. It'd been hilarious if he botched it, though. But yeah, just imagine he does that to win it. The fans would be super, super behind this guy. And I feel like they dropped the ball, especially with The Miz being champion. This is like a perfect feud handed, on a silver platter here. And they had a really nice match on Raw as well, like a no-holds-barred match. Or Falls Count Anywhere match. So yeah, I think John Morrison, he definitely deserved it. And looking at the Cena Miz feud, it wasn't it. We need some new blood here. Cena's been main eventing so many times, and I think it just would have been a nice tip of the hat to John Morrison. He's been in the company for a while. He was like Eric Bischoff's assistant, and then he became a tag team with Eminem. Had a little ECW title run, which I'm not going to talk about, but then he had a nice tag team run with The Miz. And yeah, he became over, because like his moveset was super fun. His entrance is really cool. People got behind him. So I just think, yeah, WrestleMania 27 defeats his former partner to win it. Perfect story here. And then, yeah, obviously John Morrison left later on this year, so this would have been the right time to do it. And then when he came back, he was more of a mid-card act. I think it would have been cool, though, if instead of The Miz cashing in, John Morrison cashed in. He's the one that got Otis's briefcase for that 8-day run. But, yeah, we're not going to talk about that. But John Morrison, yeah, he definitely deserved it, and this would have been perfect time to do it. All right, next up, I have Ron the Truth Killings, R-Truth. I would actually have him win it at Extreme Rules 2011. So John Morrison only gets a 1-month run, but I believe he got injured at the time, so he would have missed the next few months here. So yeah, it would be very simple. Obviously, R-Truth and John Morrison, they used to be a tag team back in 2010. So John Morrison can have like the celebration, and R-Truth can come out, congrats him, saying as a former tag team partner, I'm so happy for you. And then boom, he turns heel, and yeah, we got that crazy R-Truth. He starts smoking in the arena, and he was just super unhinged, and yeah, just talking crazy and saying like he wants his shot. John Morrison, he stabbed him in the back. He could say all this stuff. He missed WrestleMania, and John Morrison got to celebrate. He didn't even talk to R-Truth. Yeah, R-Truth could be very petty about that, and yeah, I would actually have him win it at Extreme Rules 2011. Yeah, that was the 3-way cage match, but John Morrison did have an injury he needed to heal. So yeah, unfortunately John Morrison gets a short run, but that's obviously due to circumstance. But it helps build R-Truth as this crazy character, and he would eventually lose it to John Cena, and then they can obviously have the John Cena CM Punk feud. But again, R-Truth is one of these guys that deserved it. He was pretty over as a face, and then this heel run was super short-lived, so after this, he was kind of like mid-card act, so I think this would have been the right time to do it. And yeah, just imagine him holding the belt for a couple months, just being super unhinged. I think it'd be hilarious. It'd be fun. And 2011 was peak R-Truth, so him winning it off his former partner too is like a nice story, and the circumstances fit perfectly. And obviously, his feud with Cena could still happen, and it could still be very fun. And him talking about Little Jimmy and all that. So yeah, R-Truth would have been a cool champion for sure. All right, so the next guy I have is the big guy, Ryback. Yes, Ryback. Yeah, again, he got super over in 2012, just defeating jobber after jobber, and then he gets handed a title match at Hell in a Cell, which I would not have. I would have had. There's definitely a lot of other guys CM Punk could have faced. There's someone like Randy Orton. He could have faced him at Hell in a Cell, but just to put Ryback in that situation was tough. Yeah, I would just have him again win the IC championship at SummerSlam and hold it all the way to WrestleMania. I would do the Ryback Invitational Battle Royal. He would defend the belt, and after that, he would vacate the belt and say he's on to bigger and better things, and I would actually have him win the belt at Extreme Rules. So I would have The Undertaker defeat CM Punk. So CM Punk would still be champion. Undertaker would vacate it because, again, he just wanted to win it in honor of Paul Bearer, and says that he needs some time to go away, and he will vacate the belt. And then I would have a Extreme Rules 6-pack challenge match or Elimination Chamber match, whatever you want to call it. All the heavy hitters in there, but Ryback would become the WWE champion. And yeah, I thought this was the right time to do it. And I would build him up the right way, like give him an IC title run and then finally win the belt. I felt like they really did him a disservice by putting him in a match with CM Punk and like ending his undefeated streak. And yeah, I would have him hold it, and I would actually have him drop it to either Mark Henry or John Cena at like Money in the Bank, and yeah, John Cena would end up having it by SummerSlam to fight Daniel Bryan. But yeah, I think a 2-3 month reign here would have been cool for Ryback, especially at this time. After this, his character was kind of cooked, so yeah, he could definitely turn heel afterwards. But I thought, yeah, this would have been the right time to do it, and he was definitely super over as well. I can't deny that. He was over. You know, he may be a prick to some people, but he was super over at this time, and I think he deserved it. All right, so the next guy up, I got Samoa Joe. Yes, Joe. Yes, Samoa Joe. I would have him win it at SummerSlam 2017. I believe in my rebooking, I had him fight Brock Lesnar. I would say save the Great Balls of Fire match to SummerSlam 2017, and yeah, I just feel like this is a big fight feel here. The promos going into their match was very hilarious, where Brock was really being super dismissive and funny, and Joe was being super intense. So I thought it was very funny. He was like, Daniel Bryan, I did him. Seth Rollins, I did him. And then Brock was like, "Oh, that's very impressive, Joe." And he was like laughing. So again, I feel like they're the mix of Brock not taking him seriously and Joe like being super determined to become world champion. And yeah, I would have him just get a clean victory over Brock here. Counts the F5 into the sleeper hold. Brock passes out, and Joe wins it. So yeah, Joe ends the night as champion. The only challenge here is I believe he gets injured, so that might be a little bit of a challenge. But I would have him drop it back to Brock. Like the next pay-per-view or whenever he can, just because again he does get hurt, and obviously I want to transition from Brock to Braun Strowman, so I would have gave him a run until Royal Rumble, but since he gets hurt, I guess he can drop it whenever he can. But yeah, I would have definitely gave Joe a run until Royal Rumble 2018. But yeah, Joe, again, he is definitely one of the guys that should have won it. Another time he definitely should have won it was against AJ. He had like 4 or 5 matches. You're telling me he couldn't defeat AJ one time? SummerSlam 2018 would have been probably the right time to do it, with maybe AJ getting too aggressive because Samoa Joe's talking crap about "Hey Wendy," and then yeah. But yeah, 2017, I felt that would have been the right time as well, just because Joe was this was his first year in the company, so he was super over, and he was pushed like a beast. Obviously, he debuted to take out Seth Rollins. He was kind of aligned with Triple H, so it would have been a perfect time for Joe to win it. But yeah, unfortunately, he got hurt afterwards. But I would still have the moment of him defeating Brock. It was very cool. So Samoa Joe, I would have him be a world champion. All right, next up in the list, I got the King of Strong Style, Shinsuke Nakamura, and yeah, this one gets me upset. Just how WWE dropped the ball with this guy. Like, he was so over. Like, his Royal Rumble win, the fans are going crazy, and then he challenges AJ Styles, and yeah, like, I understand, okay, the match wasn't as great as it was, but it would be remembered more fondly if Nakamura won, and I wouldn't even have him turn heel. I felt like that was a bad move as well. Maybe he could turn heel down the line, but yeah, just have him win it clean. Maybe a little shady, whatever, but he's still a face, and then he could turn heel later on. But yeah, like the fans were just super over. Like this guy won one of the best Royal Rumbles ever. He outlasted Roman Reigns and John Cena in the final 3, and he was supposed to be the next guy. And then what happened after that? Like, I don't know. He loses to AJ clean, and then he hits him with a low blow. Yeah, this one still gets me pissed off to this day. Just because they never took advantage after that. Like, even when he turned heel, they just made him like a mid card joke. They had him do like anime. Yeah, I don't know what happened. And then he also had the chance to win it against Seth Rollins, I believe in 2023. But yeah, that wasn't gonna happen either. So. But yeah, this was definitely the time to do it. He just came off NXT the year before, super over. Fans are singing his music, and yeah, it just doesn't happen. And you can say whatever his language barriers, but he was over. Like he was over, so he definitely could have won it, and then could have turned heel with the belt maybe. So yeah, I would definitely have Shinsuke win it. And then maybe afterwards he turns heel, feuds with AJ. I would have him drop it to Daniel Bryan at the SummerSlam 2018. So we still get that dream match at SummerSlam. But yeah, Shinsuke Nakamura, they dropped the ball big time just because after that they didn't use him fairly well. No, they did not. They gave him the U.S. belt, but they made him like kind of a joke. And yeah, that was pretty much it after this. So Nakamura, if he wins it, changes the whole landscape. And the fact that he even feuded with Jinder Mahal in the previous year, lost him like 2-3 times, is just it just pisses me off. But again, hindsight, Nakamura definitely should have won it, and yeah, can't believe he still never won it. So it's a shame. All right, next one I have is a little bit of an interesting one. I would have Bobby Roode winning. Yes, Bobby Roode, the glorious one. He was another guy that, again, he came to the main roster and he was a face. Like, he was a face. Why was he a face? Like, he was one of the most hated heels on NXT, and he comes as a face. Like, he claims he's the most glorious person, but he's a face. Definitely didn't understand that. And then, yeah, he became U.S. champion, which was cool. I would actually have him drop the belt to Randy at WrestleMania. He gets drafted to Raw, but I would have him be a heel as well. Like, he wouldn't be a face. So, and yeah, again, in my booking, I had Braun Strowman with the Universal belt, but I want to transition from Braun to Roman, and I would have Bobby Roode be the guy to defeat Braun Strowman maybe at Extreme Rules 2018. So that would be cool, especially with Bobby Roode being a chicken shit heel here, and Braun Strowman trying to run him down, and Bobby Roode just talking smack. Maybe he could have a little bit of a stable here, the Glorious Stable, help him out, whoever, any heels on the roster, and he could have a nice run with it until maybe SummerSlam where he drops it back to Roman. So it's a cool transition. We go from Braun to Bobby Roode to Roman Reigns. We don't need Brock Lesnar again in these title matches at this time, and yeah, we go from there. But again, he could turn face maybe afterwards, but they definitely did not take advantage of him coming from the main roster from NXT to the main roster. Everyone was singing his song at Survivor Series 2017, and basically by 6 months later, he was teaming with Chad Gable. So yeah, definitely. Again, they dropped the ball with that, and he could have had a nice reign. I'm not saying give him a long reign, but give him a couple months to say he's world champion. He has that credibility, and going forward, it definitely would have helped him. So Bobby Roode, yes, I would have the glorious one win the world title. All right, so next on the list, I have Rusev. Yes, Rusev, I would have him win it at Super Showdown 2019. So, as you guys know, I had Daniel Bryan versus Kurt Angle as the world title match there. And Rusev, he turned heel again, so he aligned himself with Shinsuke Nakamura. But I would actually have him still be a face, and Daniel Bryan could be bragging about how he defeated Kurt Angle. And Rusev can come out and say he wants a shot, and he says Daniel Bryan knows about momentum getting him the title. He says this is not the Yes movement, no, this is the Rusev Day movement. And yeah, I think this would be much better than what we got. And Kofi, obviously, he won it, but he's another guy that I think he should have won it beforehand, so that's why I didn't have Kofi here. And yeah, Daniel Bryan putting over Rusev, I think it would have been cool. I think it would have been nice, and this was the time to do it. Rusev, he left shortly after, and he was really over again in 2018 with Rusev Day, and then he finally turned face. And yeah, WrestleMania would have been also a good time, but we wanted to do the Kurt Daniel Bryan dream match, so we could still do this. Couple months later, Rusev can defeat Daniel Bryan, the new Daniel Bryan, and get a nice run in 2019. 2019, the roster, it was pretty stagnant. There was not much going on. Kofi was just feuding with heels, but again, there was not much excitement going into 2019, especially on the SmackDown side. And yeah, Rusev can hold it, and he could probably drop it to Brock Lesnar, and then we can go from there. But again, I think him having a nice run in 2019 would have been cool. And yeah, hopefully we avoid the Lana Bobby Lashley storyline as well. But yeah, Rusev Day, he definitely deserved it. 2019, there wasn't much top contenders, so Rusev definitely should have won it around that time. All right, next up on my list, I have Cesaro. Yes, the great Cesaro. And there are definitely many years he could have won it. So obviously, 2014, he splits up with the Real Americans. He becomes a Paul Heyman guy. And Daniel Bryan did vacate the belt, so I think it would have been cool for Cesaro to win it there. But it would have been a short run. And then, yeah, 2015, he was pretty over. And then he became in a tag team with Sheamus until 2020. So that's very interesting there. But I would actually have Cesaro win it again. WrestleMania 36, if you guys looked at my booking, I had Daniel Bryan enter as world champion, and he would face Cesaro, face versus face match. Nothing but respect. Cesaro could turn on Sami Zayn and Nakamura, saying he wants to do it on his own. So, again, I think Daniel Bryan would definitely love to put Cesaro over. And yeah, this was the right time to do it. Cesaro winning it over Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt. We didn't need that. We just needed some good wrestling during the pandemic, and Cesaro definitely would have did it. And he could again drop it to Roman Reigns, and we could still have the the Roman Reigns run. But I think just us saving us from the Bray Braun feud. And yeah, again, this was a year where a lot of wrestlers, they didn't want to be on the shows. They want to stay home, and Cesaro was definitely active at this time. And I think he would have been a cool moment just to see him win it. And he definitely could have won it in other years as well, but I just would have him win it here in 2020. And yeah, obviously they gave him like a little bit of a push in 2021, but I would have started a little bit earlier here. And he would be the right guy to drop it to Roman Reigns as well, instead of that weird like triple threat match they had. So yeah, Cesaro gets the world title. All right, and the last guy, the number 15 guy I have, is who can still win it. Hopefully, is L.A. Knight. Yeah. So yeah. Again, L.A. Knight. Is like my favorite saying too. But he definitely again deserved it. He still deserves it. He might still win it, but I will have him on the list for now. And when I would actually had him win it would have been this year at WrestleMania. If you guys looked at my WrestleMania 42 booking, I had Punk versus LA Knight instead of Punk versus Roman. And yeah, just would have been a cool passing of the torch here from the very outspoken, arrogant babyface to another very outspoken, arrogant babyface. And yeah, I mean, look at Roman's run here. It hasn't been really too exciting. So I think LA Knight, he definitely would have had a good feud with whoever, Jacob Fatu or whatever it was. He would have been much more entertaining. Obviously, Roman Reigns is a part-timer as well. So it just would have made sense for LA Knight to still to be world champion. And if he was world champion, I don't really know when he would lose it, because it would be like the current time right now. But again, you saw his promo with Seth Rollins the other day. I think that was very, very entertaining. And he's getting the fans behind him. So I definitely think he will win it. But for now, he is on the list as the last guy. Yeah. So yeah, guys, that is my list. In total, I have 25 wrestlers that should have won it. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if I missed anyone. Again, I just feel like WWE, they need to build stars. Like, we can't just be living off the same 5 stars, for like 20 years. We definitely needed more of a variety, and also striking while the iron's hot. Again, similar to against Sami Zayn. He won it. It was a great moment, but imagine if he won it in 2023 with the whole road behind him when he faced Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. So yeah, there's definitely lessons to be learned here for WWE, and I think all 15 guys I said, they had their moment to strike while the iron's hot. They also again, it doesn't affect much, like the timelines. People like John Cena, they still get their multiple runs, so like nothing is really getting ruined here, in my opinion, and things are just getting better. We're instead of having the same old feuds and matches, we're getting different guys that, again, I feel deserve to be world champion. These guys, I am sure, they want to be the best at their crafts, and it's just unfortunate. It just didn't happen for them. So I'm gonna go through the 15 guys I said here, and let's get it. Yeah, let's get it. We have Umaga. So I would have Umaga defeat John Cena at New Year's Revolution 2007. Then we have Mr. Kennedy, and I would have Mr. Kennedy cash in his Money in the Bank against Batista and Kane and make it a triple threat match at Great American Bash 2007. Then we'll have Shelton Benjamin cash in his Money in the Bank and win it from Triple H at SummerSlam 2008. Then we'll have William Regal win the vacate belt at the Bash 2009. I would also have Matt Hardy win it at WrestleMania 25, so that should have been before William Regal. Wade Barrett would win it at SummerSlam 2010 from John Cena. John Morrison would win it at WrestleMania 27 from The Miz. R-Truth would win it at Extreme Rules 2011 from John Morrison. Ryback would win the vacate belt at Extreme Rules 2013. Samoa Joe would defeat Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2017. Shinsuke Nakamura would have defeated AJ Styles at WrestleMania 34. Bobby Roode would defeat Braun Strowman at Extreme Rules 2018. Rusev would defeat Daniel Bryan at Super Showdown 2019. And then I'd have Cesaro defeat Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 36. And lastly, I would have LA Knight, defeat CM Punk at WrestleMania 42. So yeah, guys, this is, again, my video. Let me know what you guys think about all 25 guys, who I missed. And yeah, if you disagree, let me know as well. I'm always down for a debate. So I appreciate it. Catch you on the next one. Peace.